lifetime ban by the Airline Operators of Nigeria, AON. She is accused of assaulting crew members on a flight from Uyo to Lagos on Sunday. The AON is the Association of Nigeria's Domestic Airlines. However, there have been calls to Nigerian lawyers and human services providers to support Comfort Emmanson, who some say is a victim of fundamental rights. And for more on this, we are joined on the line by Frank Tietie, convener at Lawyers Across. Now, Frank, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on Africa Update.
Good afternoon, and my pleasure.
Now, Frank, you believe that the female passenger should be supported. Why, when there are videos on social media showing the violence she meted out to crew members?
Oh, well, that's just a part of the story, and that's the bad thing about the fact that she's been condemned when all of the story hasn't been made public. The fact that she was prevented from getting out, from disembarking from the plane, and then she had to protest, she had to struggle, she had to appear violent, was the only side that has been shown to the public. The question is, why should a female passenger who has explained why her phone was put on the flight mode be prevented, be prepped up and prepared for humiliation in the manner that it happened? The woman wanted to get out, wanted to disembark from the plane, but they prevented her. They said they had already made preparations for her arrest. And then when the law enforcement, so-called, came in, they had to drag her. In fact, you could hear chants on the background of the video saying, drag her, and they eventually gave that kind of dehumanizing treatment to her. For what? And then without a preliminary inquiry into what has happened, you hear the Airline Operation of Nigeria issuing a statement that they have given her a life ban from being on any plane in Nigeria. What kind of injustice is that? In Nigeria, we operate a constitution that recognizes the fundamental human rights of individuals. And in this case, we're talking about the principle of fair hearing. That is, you must hear the other side before you make any pronouncement that touches on the rights and privileges of that particular person. And to think that the Airline Operators of Nigeria was so hasty to disregard the individual, and then it's painful enough to consider that there is discrimination, because just a week ago the same thing, the same drama in the airport happened with a popular musician known as Kwamwan. He actually committed one of the gravest offenses in the history of Nigerian aviation by an individual. He attempted to stop a plane that is already on the tarmac that was supposed to take off. Never, and the AON did not make any statement. The AON did not condemn that event. It did not condemn the action of that popular and highly connected political musician, Kwamwan. But because we're dealing with an individual who is a woman, who is said to be, who is presumed to be, innocent and does not have such political connections, they are, wielding the big stick, even without giving her opportunity to defend herself or explain her own side of the story.
So now, what recourse does she have? Does she have, in terms of, what can be done to assist her? Because now, clearly, you stepped up, and you need to bring us into, your confidence with regards to what the next steps are. Are you going to be taking this on? And, what's the way forward?
Absolutely. We will not rest on this matter until there is justice for that individual who is actually suffering, oppression in the hands of the Airline Operators of Nigeria, the airport authorities, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, and the fact that she doesn't have help at this time. So it's our responsibility as lawyers, as civil society actors, to ensure that we stand on the side of the person that is being oppressed, and an individual that is being oppressed by this long line of institutions institutions and government agencies. In that case, we'll expect that the Constitution of Nigeria will be upheld in the courts. It doesn't matter whether she has been taken to the magistrate court hurriedly and then she's remanded in prison as we speak. We are very confident that based on the provisions of the fundamental rights of Nigeria, of Nigerians, as provided in Chapter 4 of the Constitution, she will definitely get justice against the breaches of fair hearing and discrimination. In addition to that, we expect that she should, on her own, choose a lawyer. Make a choice of a lawyer, particularly a senior lawyer in the jurisdiction of Lagos, to ensure to defend her and to push for serious damages that runs into billions of naira, because the embarrassment that has been given to her, it's disproportionate. The punishment, the humiliation is so disproportionate, it's unacceptable and highly uncalled for. The expectation is that I would move further. If there is no action from the lawyers in that jurisdiction in the next 24 hours, I will personally be in Lagos to see to it that her rights are protected. And where necessary, I will initiate a crowdfunding program for her, so in order to get sufficient resources for her own legal defense, in order for her to make a choice of a senior advocate of Nigeria who will adequately defend her. That is what I intend to do.
Now,
if
Frank,
the response is slow. So
now, you need to now bring us in. What exactly happened?
All right. So from the information I have received from all sides is that the young lady was actually on board the airline, Ibom Airline, and then she was actually requested to put her phone, to switch off her phone. And her response was that, no, she had already put the phone on a silent mode. She had already put the phone on a silent mode. And in that case, not silent mode, flight mode. But the female attendant, who was determined to ensure that she was punished, eventually, made arrangements that upon landing, she should be arrested. So at the time that she wanted to disembark, she was blocked. She was prevented from coming down, so that she would, there will be an opportunity for the law enforcement, so-called agents of the airport and the airline attendants to thoroughly humiliate her. So it was planned, it was prepped up, it was organized. In a civilized environment, one would have expected that they would have allowed the lady, whose details are already with the airline, to simply, disembark, and upon, getting into the arrival or the arrivals, she would have been arrested or, asked for being quizzed. But that didn't happen. So because of the nature, the violent nature, and the fact that in Africa, we take delight in disregarding the rights of our own people, and we take, express delight in ensuring that we have people to mock at, to laugh at. It's a disease, it's a social disease in Africa. Very, very unfortunate. So they just wanted to use her as an example. She was simply a scapegoat of a system that disregards the rights of individual Nigerians. It has always been happening. This one is just an example that has gone too far.
Yeah. Well, Frank, thank you so much for joining us. Unfortunately, we have run out of time, and we're hoping that we'll get further updates from you with regards to the story and how it will unfold. Thank you for joining us on Africa Update. That was Frank Tietie, a convener at Lawyers Across in Nigeria, joining us on the line. It is 18 after 12 Central African time.
Get